Well, that's it. The roof is closed. The madhouse is on. Let's hope tonight is a great European night and that we change our mindset, just like Real Madrid always does. And let's hope for the best in this first leg of the Champions League quarterfinals and then step by step, first tonight. For now, by the way, let's take advantage of some of the weaknesses that Bayern might show us because of their style of play. Recently, there's been much discussion about Bayern's play and potential weaknesses to exploit. Real Madrid is a very powerful team, but precisely because they take their style of play to the extreme, that's where we might benefit. And then what happens in Germany will be something else. It'll be something else. We have the squad list from the last few hours. There are no changes. Everyone is there. We've already talked in previous videos about Thiago or Jude Bellingham. I have no doubt about it. For me, it has to be Thiago. Jude, he should wait on the bench since he's been injured for a while. Everything has its own timeline. But also, in a match like tonight's, honestly, I'd be really disappointed if Thiago doesn't play because I think he's essential in that midfield. And how well Real Madrid has been doing, interestingly, up until the last match where he didn't start. Keep trusting in that. And, well, also keep in mind how they beat City when they were the favorites, just like Bayern is now, and carry it out again. In practice, it's definitely not going to be the same, not by a long shot. But there is a gap there. There is a gap that I think the Madrid, and I like to go as I don't like being the favorite, but I think Madrid can sneak in there. Why? Because for me, as a team overall, Bayern is better and above all, much more consistent with far more consistency and even with more goals. Okay. I think it's due to their playing style, which has been widely discussed recently. They go all out. The center backs even press up in such a way that, well, they can even get into situations. Albert Riera said it yesterday. Albert Riera, the one who's coaching Intrac, former Spanish player, now coach, who knows Bayern perfectly well. Arbeloa also said it yesterday that the center backs press a lot, that they go man for man a lot. And you, based on what you already did against City, for example, the thing is against City, they played without Mbappe. And that's where Valverde surprised, right? Like a knife through butter, remember. Late runners were getting in there unexpectedly. Today with Mbappe, I'm not sure we can pull it off. In any case, what needs to be done to reduce and simplify it is to see if Bayern is going to play their game, to control the game, to play in the opponent's half and so on, then take advantage of the spaces they leave. They can leave a lot of spaces, and if things go well today at the Bernabeu, it could be a rout by Real Madrid. If we're sharp and we know how we want to play, because Madrid with space is one of the best teams in the world, it absolutely kills you. Then we have a lot of weaknesses and so on. In fact, we do better against teams that want to dominate us to play in our half than those who sit back, park the bus, and so on. This has been absolutely proven. So I'm optimistic about that. Aside from that, in every other respect, I think Bayern is collectively, or at least that's what they've shown this season, a better team. But so was City. I insist. That's why I'm optimistic. Tell me, are you optimistic too? That's about tonight's match. Let's split this into two parts. Well, first of all, there's always a Bayern player, always a former Bayern player who on a Bayern Real Madrid or Real Madrid Bayern day, the guy talks and, it's something to put up in the locker room, right? Marcus Babbel says on Sky Sport, Real Madrid is the most disliked club in Europe. Their behavior in recent years is extremely unsportsmanlike. It has nothing to do with fair play anymore, and they think they're superior to everyone else. This really irritates me. It makes me really dislike them, sorry. Vinicius plays football very well, he's talented, but then I see him fall, go down, roll around 14 times, and I stop liking him. Well, thank you very much. Marcus Babbel, you also got your share from Real Madrid and Madrid back in the day. I'm remembering the famous final against Manchester United, right? Maybe that's why he still has that bitter feeling, right? But, well, anyway, he gave us that moment as a former Bayern player who speaks badly about Madrid before a match. But anyway, the other part of this video is about this topic, this Negreira thing. Yesterday, these statements from Perez Lima, a former referee, came out directed precisely at Xavier Estrada Fernandez. And pay attention to what he says.
And that's where Enrique Negreira had that petete book, as some of us called it, where the referee reports of all the referees were kept. And where is that sheet you mentioned, the one that showed if you were in Group 1, Group 2, or Group 3? One question, Manuel, do you think there was fear of being demoted or disappearing from the refereeing system if you caused trouble?
No, that definitely existed. That definitely existed. But of course, for example, the way I was, I didn't get myself into trouble. I just said my piece and tried to have a good time. But of course, there was fear. There was a lot of fear. The psychological effort needed to escape that was significant. In second division, I developed depression, well, strong anxiety, because I was more concerned with office politics than the field, which made refereeing impossible.
For what? So that the people who listen to us and watch us, Franco Martinez and Enrique Negreira, vice presidents of the committee. No, in your time as a referee, and when you say that about the room, it's because when there were referee gatherings, everyone went through that room, right? To check in the confessional. Did the referees know how much influence Negreira had within the CTA?
The vice president, kid.
Yeah, I already know, but I have to ask you because for the people who are listening to us, I think it's important for listeners to know what was happening and to hear it from referees who were part of the professional ranks.
Let's see, what you can't say, look, I can't defend anyone. I have to give my opinion. I mean, if I had to defend someone, I would say that one is useless. I mean, he didn't matter at all, kid. The vice president, I'm not the vice president. I matter even less. I mean, a vice president of any club is very important.
Very influential too, Manuel.
For me, everyone who was on the board of directors of the CTA at that time had influence, all of them, but they were always one step below the presidents. Well, because later, when it came time to make decisions, they always tried to keep all the federations and everyone else happy. But Negreira, along with the entire technical team, carried real weight. The ones who give the orders are the ones who manage things, and those who don't are the ones who control, the ones who make and unmake decisions, the ones who send out the assignments, the ones who do things, the ones who don't, everyone. The ones who send you to one side, the ones who send you to another. In other words, they're the bosses. It's like saying right now that the coach, along with his staff, doesn't have any influence, or that the assistant coach of a club doesn't have any influence. Who would believe that? The referees try harder to please those in charge than to defend those they really should be defending, which are the referees themselves.
Well, they try harder to please those in charge, that fear of the higher-ups. This is what Perez Lima says. Now I remember this one. Of course, we've been sold the idea that the referees are a united front, arguing that nothing happened during that whole period, even though they paid one of the bosses, but it never reached them and so on. That's a lie, because there are many Fernandez Hinojosa too. I'm remembering that guy. What's his name? Sergi? I don't remember. Was his name Sergi Lopez? No, I think I'm getting confused. Well, remember the one who interviewed, who once also talked with Ramon Alvarez de Mont. I'm remembering now. Well, there are several, right? No, there are several. I've lost the name of the other one, but you'll have to forgive me. But anyway, Estrada Fernandez, wow, this man, Hinojosa too. I mean, there have been several referees in recent years since the Negreira thing became known who have talked about their experience there. Because interestingly, of course, coincidentally, things didn't go well for them, or not as well as for others. Let's review who did have things go well and what they thought. This is what Medina Cantalejo said, what he thought about what Negreira was doing.
Enriquez Negreira, for the group of referees we had back then, was a person who, yes, was the vice president, was someone who was part of the board of directors, as you would expect, but we didn't really know what his role was, right? Because he would come, we would see each other twice a year, once in the middle of the season and during the preseason, which we usually held in Santander. The contact he had with the referees was minimal. We were with him. He would hand out some papers about the group you were in, group 1, group 2, group 3, depending on your rating, and that was it. I mean, there was nothing else. We don't know his responsibilities, though he was there for years. He mostly stayed in the background and can't be said to have had any major role on the committee.
Of course, this works for him. He wanted to downplay it, just like the Royal Spanish Football Federation wants to do now. Downplay it. That's why, well, contrary to what would be logical, right? They are involved in the criminal case as the prosecution, but they haven't lifted a finger internally regarding their own code of ethics. Because of what happened, which is why Juan Luis Martín de Pozuelo filed that complaint we've already talked about and will continue to report on, right? And we're going to try to shake things up there so that the code of ethics has to say something, and from there take it up to UEFA and also to FIFA, but that's another matter. Those who succeeded in the refereeing establishment and the Spanish Football Federation say Negreira didn't matter, nothing is happening here, and that this is time barred, while the federation now doesn't want Barca to be sanctioned. There are a lot of people inside, as we just heard from two referees, who say there was fear of the back rooms, and that referees officiated not so much based on what they saw on the field, but on what could be said or decided about them in the back rooms, because you either earned 300,000 or you earned half. And that present and future livelihood was in the hands of a man who was earning 8.4 million from FC Barcelona. Well, that's just more proof, isn't it? More proof. And as more come out, we'll keep telling you about them here. But of course, all the best to you. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel, comment, share, and that's it. See you later. Real Madrid Bayern. Oh my goodness, come on. Post-match live stream here on YouTube, as always. Bye.